Good morning. This is Pierre again here, your daily motivator, always here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. So today we're going to be talking about your financial revolution. And this is important because what happens is that a lot of us, we don't think about finances on the level of needing a revolution in our finances. So today, on this episode 427, and this entire week, all the way to 431, I will be talking about this financial revolution. I think the first thing that matters if we want to get a revolution in our finances is going to be our mindset. And that's very important. You know, this week on the weekend reflection, I talked to you, are you a financial warrior? And I absolutely recommend you go back to hear the 5 steps, minimum 5 steps necessary to become a financial warrior. So I think, you know, the first thing I talked about is having a financial plan. But before you have that plan, one of the key things that must change about you is your perspective, the way you see finances. There are things that actually have to revolt you. And I'm talking about things like, why am I paying for one house for 30 years when somebody else can pay for it in one fell swoop? Why am I taking 39 months or more to lease a car when somebody else is paying for it cash? And why am I making decisions with my money that I'm told should be good for me so that down the line I can benefit from Social Security when nobody can confirm that Social Security will even be available by the time I become a senior citizen? I think it's important for us to recognize that man will have his system, but God has a system. And this is why I came to you this morning here. I've come to you to talk to you about this financial revolution. And it starts in your mind. That's the first thing. To have a revolution, you have to recognize there is one kingdom that is absolutely out there to put you in bondage. And of course, remember, the borrower is servant to the lender. But a lot of times we hear that and we say, yeah, that's true. I'm not in debt. Well, let's be real about it. 98% of American families are running after money. And the reason is because they're looking for that one place called, I just want to have more than enough. And even though in God's word, he promises us more than enough, a lot of us, we're running after money, whether it's on a job primarily, the rat race, or in a business that we've built where we still have not leveraged the business to what it's supposed to be in terms of becoming the leader we're supposed to be. So then that business becomes another job we've bought ourselves. So when it comes to a financial revolution, the first thing that's got to change is your mindset. You've got to absolutely deplore the place where you've been living in terms of your finances. If it's been a place of lack, you have to recognize that you don't have to live in lack anymore. The reason is because the kingdom that was brought forth by Jesus, one of the key things it declares is that I have good news for the poor man. And people may fight all they want in the church and say, well, Jesus was talking for those that are poor in spirit. Well, my friend, poverty is poverty. Whether you're poor in spirit or poor physically, the reality is, as the richest man who ever lived before Jesus said, money answers all things. And that man knew this. People came to him, including queens from other lands, to get advice from him, to get his wisdom. And you know what? Because the man was full of money, his kingdom was basically one of the wealthiest known to men. Today, when we go back, the amount of gold that he used just to build the temple is worth over $41 billion. His kingdom was a multi-billion-dollar kingdom. So when we think about Solomon, that's what I'm talking about here. And you could go online and check those numbers. But the reality here is this. We're talking about the importance of having money in your life. We have been raised under a system that teaches us debt. And today I'm only talking about the mindset. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about some effective ways to develop that financial plan. See, the mindset that a lot of people have is, well, you know, I'm just going to go to school, get a good job, preferably a government job, so that in the end of my days, the government can take care of me. But that's not how life was supposed to be lived. You see, in America, unlike a lot of other countries, you have the ability to create a business. Did you know that a lot of countries don't allow their citizens to create businesses? This is powerful. This is important to recognize. The men who fought to give America its freedom from England, one of the key things they came up with was the ability that you have to have free enterprise. Now, of course, free enterprise is limited to some extent by the government regulations and so forth and so on. But still, It is free enterprise. This is the only country, frankly, in the world where everybody's running to get opportunity. Opportunity for what? Opportunity to build their businesses, opportunity to create more resources, because the country is already full of resources. And it's a blessed country, as you know, it is sung even from the government, God bless America. It is a blessed country that recognizes that they trust in God. Even in the money, it's written, in God we trust. Now, of course, Constitution, the legislative arm, the other different arms of government, the other branches may not necessarily truly fully trust in that God, but they recognize when something happens, like 911, where to turn. And suddenly they come back to that God to worship him. But my point to you is this. America is one of the greatest countries ever at this stage. It's still a republic. It's still not God's kingdom, but it's one country where you can actually start your own business and you can run. And the reason I'm talking about business is because I want you to start changing your mind. You need to have a change of mind. If you are going to take more territory, you got to recognize it's not just about a job, it's about creating jobs. Matter of fact, the government will pay you for creating jobs. The government will pay you for building real estate. So there are things that the government naturally wants you to do, whether it's to create jobs or to generate more place for people to live. Those two things the government will actually help you get in debt for. And of course, be aware that America is running on debt. Debt that is based on other countries providing, that we don't know how we're even going to pay those debts. We have over $38 trillion of debt, not to mention over $80 trillion of what we're calling Social Security, all these dues that we have to the people in America. And so we have over 108, I think actually it's more than $120 trillion of debt when we look at the true picture of the national debt in America. So as a result, as goes the country, so go the people. And I'm sure you have some level of debt, whether it's credit card debt, which is sucking your life dry because they're taking interest, usury. That's one way they're taking your life slowly from you. You're bleeding through this interest because the more you go to work, the more you go to pay them. So I'm not even going to talk yet about a financial plan, but you can see with me, if you continue living your life that way, that's going to cripple you. I'm inviting you to really start thinking about your own financial plan, to start thinking about why you should get off of the current system, because that system is simply crippling you. And it's going to take you down to a place where all you're going to expect is Social Security. By the way, did you know that most of the people that get to the age of retirement, more than 80% of them, it's like 75-80% of them can't really rely on Social Security, even though it's there. Number one, a lot of them don't make it to that age because, already all the work and everything, even though life expectancy has grown. I got a grandmother who's reaching 100 years old this month. But here's the key thing to understand. Even if you go past that age, the reality is, how will you survive? And I use that word loosely, survive, because in America, people are surviving from paycheck to paycheck. And the reason is because they've not yet changed their mind. And you have to change your mentality when it comes to finances. You have to decide to throw off the chains of darkness that basically are keeping you in slavery. And this is a big deal. I'm not going to delve more into it, just to say to you, there is a different way of doing things. And I'm sure you know about it. And you can follow the Dave Ramsey's, the Robert Kiyosaki's. There are many others out there that are preaching how to manage your money. But what I'm coming to you this week is a financial revolution that is based on comparing one kingdom versus another. And I will gladly share with you some of these principles. And there are spiritual principles as well that will help you get out from under debt. Because you see, to go from one system to another, you need to know that there is a system that is higher. That's the most important thing. You need to know that there is a higher system. And I'll give you some practical steps as well as we step through the financial plan and the money blueprint. There's a lot of cool things I'm going to share with you. But all to say, listen, this is Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator. I'm looking forward to absolutely helping you. If you need help, you need some free consulting, some free time, jump on a free consulting call with me, eonthemove.com/coaching, and get together with me and we'll get you more information and help you even with your financial plan. So this here is Pierre Laguerre, always here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. I hope that today I'm starting to get you to think about why debt is crippling this nation so much and what to do so that you don't remain under the same under the same system much longer. It's Pierre Laguerre. I'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great day.